Welcome to The Becks, a podcast that explores multimedia horror with host Becky and Sydney. Join us as we talk about movies, books, video games, music, and much, much more.
Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks.
All right, so my story that I picked from Edgar Allan Poe was The Telltale Heart. And if you've never read it, it totally starts out, he's just bragging about himself. It's like he's giving an interview about what he did. And the first words he says are, "True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad?" And then he goes on to say that the disease he has sharpened his mental faculties.
Oh, that's always a good sign.
He is super smart. He is not dulled.
Oh.
Everything is sharpened. Everything is wonderful. And he's better than he ever was. His hearing's good. He heard all things in heaven and earth.
Wow.
Yeah. Basically, the premise is he kills the old man he lives with. And there's no reason for him to kill him. He states this. There was no reason. It's impossible to figure out when he really first started thinking about it or why he decided to do it. He just became obsessed with it night and day thinking about it. But then he decided it must be his eye. The old man had a bad eye that was clouded over and he was blind in it. And that was haunting him. So it had to be the eye. That is why he chose to kill the old man. Because he didn't want his money. He didn't want his house. He wanted nothing from him. But he knew he had to kill him. And so it must be that evil eye that he had. So then he talks about how he, for night and day, for 7 days, he tried to sneak into the man's bedroom. And he would open the door ever so slightly and try to poke his head in the door, and it took him an hour at one time just to get his head all the way through the door.
Because he was spooked about it, or
because he was being very careful so that he wouldn't wake the old man. Yes.
Okay.
And he couldn't kill the old man when the eye wasn't open. So
the eye had to be open.
So the eye had to be open because the whole reason he was killing the man was because of the bad eye that made his blood run cold. So he literally would sneak up to the old man's room and try to sneak in. And he said, "See, this, you call me mad, but would a madman do that? Takes so much care in sneaking into the room. An hour to get his head all the way through the door."
See, that doesn't make any sense because, why is he being sneaky if the eye has to be open? That means the guy has to be awake.
Well, because he has to do it a certain way.
Yeah, like a sane person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
"You fancy me mad," he says, "but madmen know nothing."
Oh, of course.
And then he talks about how you should have seen him and how wisely he proceeded. And, he brags himself up. He's very narcissistic. He thinks he's wonderful. So he was very cautious the whole week before he killed him. He was sneaking in, trying to, every night at midnight, he'd turn the latch of the door, so gently. So he was sneaking up on him, but he was convinced that it was the eye that was evil. So it wasn't the old man that he was killing, per se. He was just getting rid of him because of the evil eye.
Why didn't he just take a spoon to it?
I don't know. Ew.
Sorry, but
Yeah.
jumping straight to murder seems a little extreme.
It does, but he planned it. So finally, he was sneaking up on the old man, and the old man heard him.
Uh-oh.
And he sat up. Now, he didn't have his lantern on at this time. He had his lantern off. He was carrying his lantern, so he didn't have it on, so the old man couldn't see him at first. And the old man sat up in bed and was like, "Who is that?" And he just stood there. He didn't move at all. He just stood. You figure, okay, he's awake. Now I'm going to go in. I'm going to, whatever you're going to do. He said he stood there for, ever and listened to the old man, convincing himself that it must just be, the wind or this or that, and there couldn't be someone there. He said, but I could hear his fear. I could feel it. So it almost made him more exciting.
Ew.
Yeah. For a whole hour, he sat there listening with the lights off, with the lantern off, waiting for the old man to lay back down. And he couldn't hear him lay back down, so he just stayed there. He just stayed there. But he was sane.
Yeah.
Sane,
No,
sane.
the most sane person perhaps we've ever talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he said he heard a groan, which he could tell was like full of fear and absolute terror, which excited him a little bit because he knew it wasn't painful. He knew the sound. I knew the sound well of terror. So how did he know the sound well? How many people did he kill?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. So he was pretty excited, and he decided to turn the lantern on just ever so slightly. So he turned it up, and he looked in, and he saw the eye. Saw the eye. So he went in and killed the old man. And then he says that this part makes him genius. He's super genius because he dismembered the body and hid it underneath the floorboards of the house.
So smart.
Yes.
What do you do when it rots?
Exactly. You would think, but he was good. He knew he was good. He told everybody he was good. And
this guy's dumb as fuck, by the way.
Pretty dumb. So then he decided, after he did that everything was fine. He was genius. He was good. He was not going to get caught. No one would ever know. It was all good to go. He was fine. And then the police came to the door. And
because the dude's been missing.
One of the neighbors heard a noise, a man's cry, the night before and had called the police. So they were coming to do a wellness check. So he told him that the old man was gone away on business somewhere. And he's like, come on in. Come on in. You can come right in.
Because he was so sure.
Because he was so sure, because he's not mad.
Yeah, and he's not going to get caught.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Mm-hmm. So he took him through the whole house and then into the man's bedroom. You know, where the man was underneath the floorboards.
Mm-hmm.
His dismembered body. So after he took the policeman in, they basically just started hanging out in the guy's bedroom. And that's when he started losing it.
He started hearing.
He started hearing the old man's heartbeat. And he was convinced that the police could hear it. But they kept just chit-chatting very pleasantly. And he goes into this whole in-depth story on how they're just talking, but they must know. And how, they're not saying anything, but they're looking at me. And I can hear it, and it's getting louder, and it's getting louder, and they must be hearing it. And then he just blurts out, I did it! And tells him where the body is. And it's just like, yep. Pulls up the boards, says, I killed him. And that's it. That's it. The heartbeat led the police to the old man, but it wasn't the police that heard the heartbeat. It was the crazy man that killed the old man that could.
So, were they like roommates? I don't understand.
It sounds like they were roommates. Because he talks about him like he says, I loved him. I had nothing against him.
But then he just got cataracts and then
he just got a weird wonky eye with a film over it, and it was the evil eye, and he had to kill him. Well, that's what he used as the excuse of why he had to kill him. But
yeah. He said
the old man had never done him any ill will. He didn't have anything against him.
Well, clearly this guy's killed before, though.
Obviously, because he said he recognized that.
The sound of terror.
Sound of terror.
And that's not just a casual thing to know.
No. So.
It's not like they were going to see horror films back then.
No.
Wasn't a thing yet.
No. So he just literally lost his mind, and maybe, who knows what disease he had.
Yeah,
and he knew he had a disease. He said, this disease made me sharp.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's like, was it like a crisis of conscience?
that led him to saying he
yeah,
did it?
or was it literally just him being like, "Holy shit, the heart is beating"?
Yeah,
like
it's going to give me away.
Yeah,
I just need to admit what I did.
Yeah, like because it's like he doesn't seem like you said. He seems kind of like a narcissist, and it doesn't seem like he really cares about people.
No.
So it doesn't seem to me that a person like that would feel guilt in the traditional sense.
No, I think he just. Well, I think guilt had to lead to him kind of losing it.
Yeah.
And hearing the heartbeat, because why else would he, I don't know. Or maybe it was just the police were there, so the paranoia.
Yeah.
Rather than guilt. The paranoia of them sitting there in that room and him knowing that man's body was right there and...
Just ask them if they want some lemonade and take them back downstairs.
Yeah. No. He said they must know. They must be hearing it. But they didn't let on.
But he has the most superior hearing of all.
Yes.
So why would they be able to hear it?
Exactly.
His own logic doesn't logic.
Well, that's because he's insane.
Yes.
He killed a man because of his eyeball.
It's a good thing he doesn't work for an eye doctor.
Correct. I agree.
This one isn't really supernatural either.
No. Just insane. A little bit of insanity going on there.
Well, it's like the cast of Amontillado isn't really...
No, I listened to that one twice, too.
Either. That one's good.
That one is good. That's another crazy guy.
Yeah. Well... Yeah, see, this is where it lends to me to people saying, like, oh, yeah, he was just extremely, like, mentally disturbed. Edgar Allan Poe, I mean. Because it's either insanity or it's ghosts or it's both.
Maybe he was, I don't know. There was something going on there. He was genius with the things he wrote, especially for his time. Some of the things he wrote are, like, whoa. You wouldn't think that would be.
And it's still a mystery about how he died.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I think he was severely messed up, like mentally ill. I think he went off into the woods and died of exposure or something. That's what I think. I don't think.
Well, could be.
I don't think it's this great mystery necessarily.
Dawn had sent me something. I didn't forward it on to you because we're not going to be here. But they had an Edgar Allan Poe speakeasy. It's like a travel speakeasy. They had it in, I think, Grand Rapids and in Lansing. Last week was Lansing.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
This weekend is, I think, Grand Rapids.
That's awesome.
Or vice versa, something like that. But anyways, yeah, they're traveling all over the country. I was so bummed. Oh, no, we could have gone, but we'll be in Iceland, so I'm not too sad about it. But
oh, no, let me just dry my tears with puffins.
Happy Puffin Day.
It is Puffin Day.
Well, my episode won't be on Puffin Day, but the episode that we're recording right now, the day we're recording, I mean, it's Puffin Day. I wanted to kiss a puffin until my son told me that puffin bit Gordon Ramsay when he kissed it.
Oh, well, I think it has to do with intention because Gordon Ramsay ate one of the motherfuckers.
This is true.
I think don't eat a puffin and you won't get bit in the face.
Okay.
That's the advice for today.
Okay.
That's the episode. That's the advice that we have for this episode.
Don't eat a puffin.
Or a puffin will bite you in the face.
Yes.
So we're gonna have I think we're gonna do some cool stuff in Iceland that we might be able to do an episode about. Because there's lots of really interesting folklore and all that good stuff. They have fairies there. And
fairies.
Fairies can be very scary.
Fairies can be terrifying. What's that one movie I watched with scary fairies? Oh, I don't remember. Terrifying fairies.
Is it the Tooth Fairy?
I don't know if it was that one. Terrifying fairy movies.
I still really want to do a tour in the Black Forest of Germany. Because that place is freaky as fuck. Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls sounds familiar.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be really good. There are several horror movies about the Tooth Fairy. Weirdly.
Scary fairies.
I think there's something... There was this book I read that I will be talking about eventually. I just have to reread it. But the author just died, so it's kind of a little too fresh right now. It's called The Forbidden Game. And in one of the, for lack of a better term, levels of the game, they are literally transported to a forest. And they meet fairies. They're very, like, inhuman. And at first they seem, like, friendly, but they're just so alien. And I don't mean, like, outer space. I just mean alien to humans. And then, like, it's just very sinister. And the whole chapter that they were talking about these, like, there's, like, the fairies were, like, partying. They were having a party in the forest. I can't remember. It's been many years since I read this. But everything about it was so sinister, and it just started taking on this very dark, weird turn. And it legitimately freaked me out, like, really bad.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you think about, like, the Brothers Grimm and stuff, all those stories that got adapted into Disney movies that are very, like, chill and sanitized. But the original stories are super dark, and they don't end well, and it's all just very terrible.
Well, the book I just read, or listened to, was not about fairies, but it was terrifying.
What was it about?
Things did not end well. It was about this family that moved into this house. She was a recovering addict. He was a recovering angry person. They had a very volatile marriage when they were first married. Loved each other very much, but they had a lot of issues. Like I said, she was an addict. He had anger issues. Came down to she basically overdosed, and he found her and freaked out. They had a little boy, and she got sober, and they decided to live their life right. He went to anger management. They bought this home. They were excited about moving into this home. She had a brother that used to be an addict with her. He was sober. Their life was moving on. Well, then they noticed a really strange neighbor. It was townhouses. So they were connected. And the strange neighbor never came out of the house. And the lady happened to run into the girl's uncle. She was told that she was mentally ill, and it was degenerative, and she was getting worse, and to just stay away from her, and blah, blah, blah. So she met the uncle, this and that. Well, then really weird things started happening in their house. Like her diary disappeared, and then it was back. She heard noises when she was alone in the house. Their little boy started talking about his friend Daisy, that was a princess, and how she had long blonde hair and wore this gown, and she came into his room. Then their dog disappeared.
Oh, no.
Then something else happened. Oh, the dad's tools disappeared. The boy's nightlight disappeared. And when they asked where that went, he's like, oh, Daisy took it. She came in here and asked if she could have it while he was in the bath. And the dad was like, what? So they took him to a counselor because they knew they had kind of messed him up. He was only like 6 or 7. And they knew they had messed him up with their fighting and stuff in front of him. And
so maybe it was like he was manifesting.
So they thought he was manifesting. It was after the dog disappeared that he started talking about Daisy. And so they thought it was an imaginary friend and not to worry about it. Well, it progressed from there. And then it gets just viciously violent. There's one scene, whatever. There's one part of the book where the brother goes over to confront the lady and tell her to stay away from his nephew. And he does not make it out.
Oh.
And she has the dog.
Oh, no.
And she feeds him the man alive. She cuts him open and throws his intestines out, his innards out onto the ground, and gives the dog medication to increase his appetite after not feeding him for 2 weeks, and lets him basically eat the man's insides while he's still alive.
What the fuck?
And it was violent, dude. I can't even.
Who was the author?
Nick Roberts. It's got like 4.5 stars on Amazon.
What is the name of this book?
Anathema, Anathema, Anathema by Nick Roberts. I was originally I just looked up horror books because I wanted to do an audiobook that was scary. And I think the one I was supposed to get was not this one.
Was it like the same name?
Same name. Because there's another one that's called Anathema, The Eating Woods, #1.
Oh.
And so I just looked up Anathema. I didn't realize there was, and I got that one, which it's a horror book. I mean, I got what I looked for. I'm not sure that I enjoyed the writing that much. There was a lot of, she said back, he said this, she said this. A lot of he said, she said, they said, instead of just the flow of the conversation.
Oh.
So a lot of times I was like, just stop. But it was violent, and it was, holy shit. Yeah. I definitely asked Lauren today for a good feel-good book because wow. And it does not end well. It is horrible. So if you read it, there are so many trigger warnings. It's bad.
Oof.
If you're not going to read it, I can tell you all about it. But if you're going to read it, there's so much that happens. You're like, oh my God, what just happened?
Again, I don't know what the fucking... Who decided to normalize imaginary friends?
I don't know.
Who did that? It never turns out good. It's never normal.
No, for sure, right? The imaginary friend is going to kill you. Or
'Cause
someone.
I read Josh Mallerman's Incidents Around the House.
Yeah.
And it's from the perspective of a child. And how he has... Oh, I can't remember if it's a little girl or a little boy. I wasn't super impressed with it. I feel like it could have been executed better. But they have this child has an imaginary friend that they call the other mother. Because it sort of looks like his mom. But it isn't really his mom.
I think you've told me about this.
And it wants to not take him away from his family, but it just wants to... It's weird, and it's really creepy, and, his parents don't really believe it's a real thing, but then all this stuff happens, one of their dogs gets killed. It's crazy.
This one just goes bad. Everything, it's bad. It's all bad.
So
there is no good that happens in this book. Not a single ounce of good. It doesn't end nice. Everything's bad. It's all horrible, and it's all very violent, and... Yeah. I mean, there were times I thought, okay, there's going to be a hero here.
And then it just never happened.
No. And
I feel...
woman next door, the Daisy, she is an evil entity. Just, it's crazy.
She's a very vile person. Thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Nick Cutter's books. I really like them. They're super creepy. But there is not anything good.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Even if the character you're rooting for makes it out alive, it's it almost would have been better if they had just died. Mm-hmm. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, so, this is crazy. Maybe we'll just do a bunch of lives and upload them on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we do need to do some of that stuff. I think it'd be cool if we recorded, us eating cool food and stuff.
That would be cool.
And kissing puffins and watching whales.
So look for us on YouTube this next week.
Yeah, we'll put some stuff on TikTok, too.
Yes. Anyway. Oh, whoops, sorry. I cut her right off. Did you hear that? Cut that bitch off. The look.
I was waiting for you to cut me off again.
I know. I was going to try. I was watching.
Today, the Whale Pod. Tomorrow, the world. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks.